All right.
Whoa. Okay. We're all set.
So,
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
right. Well, I am Kip Brooks. I'm a men's transformation and transition coach and also a coach of other coaches. But tonight is not about me. It's about Jess and all of you. So I guess you don't need an introduction since it's your page, but I'm so honored to be here. I know we've talked, it was mentioned a few weeks ago, and then finally I had a diabolical scheme to get myself bumped up the list and had to take somebody out, and I got in as a last minute add-on. So here we are. So how's your week been so far? I got to chat with you a whole lot this week.
My week has been pretty good. Yeah, there's a lot going on, but I'm having a pretty good day. How about you?
It's yeah, the last like 4 or 5 days have been just wide open, and I don't even know with what. Like it's all a blur, but finally, as the week goes on, it gets a little more calm. So I'm just waiting for that and just taking every moment as it comes. So, um, what are the? Then when's the book coming? What's the date?
I don't have an
I'm trying to
official
remember.
date yet, but my hope is June 23rd. I
Yeah,
get to finish
that's right.
editing this week.
Okay, awesome. All right, so let's see. Um, since you are a breakup to breakthrough coach, I should focus a couple of questions in that area. So, when, what age were you for your first love?
What age was I for my first love?
Yeah.
Is this a reciprocated love or my first love?
Who popped in your mind first?
Well, who popped into my mind first were the Backstreet Boys when I was 10.
Awesome.
But I did not know them.
Well, you're on your way, and I'm sure they'll know you soon. Know you very soon. Now, was there one in particular, or?
Oh, Brian.
No? Oh, okay. I don't even know who that was, actually. I know you had hair, right? Yeah. Um, uh, I actually almost said I know Justin Timberlake, but he's actually in sync, right? I don't
Yes,
even.
that's in sync.
Yeah, wasn't my genre of music at that time. Although I listened to everything, but I think what it was though is unconsciously, I didn't want him to replace New Kids on the Block, and uh, even though I wasn't a public New Kids on the Block fan, I was privately like kind of man crushing on them when I was a kid. So, anyway, but first Heartbreak then.
Wow, that's an interesting man. I have not gotten asked these questions ever. My first heartbreak, okay,
That's why
again,
you called me in.
is like, is that like, were we actually together or just heartbreak in general? Because I didn't date, my first time dating, I was 18. But I would say that I'd had heartbreak before then. I had many crushes of people who didn't like me back, and what's that called? Basically, loving somebody and they don't even know you exist.
Yeah. There was a period of my life I called that life. That's just what it was. But yeah. Okay. So actually, yeah, that kind of brings up. So first, back to the first love question. Reciprocate at this time. How about that?
My first love, I was in college, my sophomore year. So I was 19 or 20. Yeah, I was in college.
That lead to heartbreak.
I have so many different ideas about what heartbreak actually looks like. And so it's even hard for me to associate any of the guys I've dated with heartbreak. Um, it was hard and it sucked because he definitely broke up with me. Um, but I view it such like it's this like beautiful thing, you know, getting to be loved and let go and move on to different and new things, you know.
Yeah, yeah, it's something being on this side of it and being a coach and doing all the work that we do, like on ourselves and everything. It's like I'm in a, work with men and I'm in men's groups. And one I was in, like everybody was challenging each other. I was like, all right, everybody's going to give up one vice for X amount of time. I was like, yeah, I don't have one. Like when they gave the definition of it, I was like, I'm kind of a boring person. I was like, because I've been working on that. And I was like, and now really with the business and the kids and homeschool and quarantine, I was like, I just don't have time for one right now. I was like, I don't have the luxury. I was like, I'm sorry. And they kept drilling me on it, but a couple of them have known me for quite a while. And then they're like, yeah, you really actually don't have one. So yeah, sorry. Like, so I let them pick what I had to challenge. So that way, yeah, they could feel like we were all going through it. But anyway.
Yeah. I'm
So,
looking at our comments. Uh, just shout out to June and Jake who are watching and viewing with us right now.
all right. Uh, so what do you want to change in the world?
Oh, so many things. Um, one of like I call myself a personal development junkie. Um, and so if left to my own devices, I read about personal development and just soak it all in from so many different sources. And what I have learned a lot from that is like it's beautiful. Like our minds are educated really well, especially in the United States at this time. So not necessarily everywhere, but generally, you know, we are developing our minds, but we do not have any clue what to do with our emotions. And so if I can teach people about emotions and how to move through them and let them flow and know that they are part of us instead of like resisting, because when every time we resist emotion, um, there's something that happens as a result, and usually it's a negative thing and it comes out in dysfunctional ways. And so to help people learn how to accept that and know how to move through their emotions and like be able to have emotional intelligence, that is something I would definitely um, change in the world.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. We've had plenty of those conversations, right? It's like, yeah, just allow it to come through and just allow it to process. Nature knows what it's doing. It really does. And it's only like a few minutes of suck and then it's better instead of a lifelong trying to cover it up. So, um, uh, so how long's your hair been purple?
My hair has been purple for 2 years. 2 years.
What made you go with purple?
That's a really interesting question because really my favorite color is blue. And I decided about what's it been 3 or 4 years ago I wanted to dye my hair purple. But I was living in South Korea at the time and teaching, and there was pretty strict rules about hair color as a teacher in Korea. So I could
Mm.
not dye my hair purple at the time. And so when I came back to the States, that's um, after about 6 months of being here, that's what I ended up doing. But I have no idea. Initially, I had no idea why I was drawn to purple. The more that I learn about the color and the more that I'm learning about like royalty and spirituality, like that kind of stuff all has that purple vibe. And that's like what
Yeah.
I'm drawing into myself. And it's, and part of like the essence of who I am. And it just works for me.
Yeah, I love it. I do. When I'm doing deep emotional work with someone, get to a certain points, and we do a what's called a break state. Kind of shift them so we don't create a neurological loop or whatever. And and like my students and clients after they've been with me for a little while get a kick out of. I'm known for like just coming with off the wall stuff, and one of the things I've asked a couple of times is. What number is purple, and it's always whenever I use color, it's always purple, or I'll ask what color is clear, one or the other. But Yeah, purple always gets worked in, and I never had a fascination with it. But and then when I really got into like NLP and hypnosis, one of the gurus or whatever who really put things on the map was Dr. Milton Erickson. And one of the things he was known for is he would wear a purple suit because it's very calming color and it helps people get into a trance and open up more. And so every time I see it, like I've checked into hotels and they have purple furniture and I'm like taking selfies in it and sending it to all my friends who geek out on that stuff. But yeah, so it's very interesting when you and I joined forces and came into each other's world, and it's like purple's your color. It's like, wow, there's all these little signs from the universe all the time. But
So how would you answer that question? What number is purple?
oh, I have no idea. Some people actually, I heard it. We were going through, we just wrapped up our one of our certification groups for coaches, and they sent us in some demo videos, and one of them actually used it, and the lady answered 7. So according to her, 7 is the number purple would be, I guess.
And as soon as you asked that question, that's the number that popped in my head too.
Really? I need to look into that. And it's funny because when I was watching the demo video and they did it, for one, I geeked out. I was like, oh, it's like one of my kids. And then, but for some reason, it just kind of made sense to me. But yeah, I'll ask stuff and it's like, I love it when people answer it, but most of the time, like, what? But that's all it's for. It's like just to shift them for a minute. But I love it when they answer, and it's hilarious some of the answers people come up with, especially when they say it like real bold and confident right back. It's like, I'm not expecting that. It's pretty cool. So let's see, something original. What is something about the world that just like pisses you off? Just kind of a pet peeve about something that, oh yeah, I'm gonna fix that, or whatever. Yeah, wherever that goes with you.
So a question that I was asked recently that goes into this is, what would I do with $1 billion? Like, that's a lot of money. First of all, it's hard to even wrap my brain around it. But I was like, the first thing that popped into my head was fix the education system.
Mm.
If I had $1 billion, I feel like I could fix the education system for sure. And I would integrate emotional intelligence in the curriculum of schooling, and update it in such a way that's like for this time. Like, we're still like, the education system is like built before the internet, but we have the internet now. Like, people don't need to memorize things anymore. When you have Google and you can look stuff up, and so there's merit to being able to memorize, but also like, and I have such a heart for education. My background's in education, and so to be able to create a system that works better and it incorporates like real life stuff, emotional intelligence, relationships, finances, money, like all of the stuff that we actually use on a regular basis. And
There's
then
another
obviously
word. What is it, taxes or something like that? That it's kind of important to know, that I wish I would have learned about way back when. Because
government, like how it actually works and how you can actually participate. And yeah, all of those types of things I would love to. Oh,
yes.
the education system pisses me off. Yes.
And even being able to have an actual conversation instead of having to wait your turn, because it creates this, everybody's waiting for permission to express themselves. And it's like, oh, yeah, I totally relate to that answer, because that's always basically where I go with it too, is something about education system. It's such an obsolete model, and even when it was created, I don't believe it was like really all that advanced. But yeah, it's good intention in it, but and I've had some amazing teachers, but
There are some
it
amazing teachers for sure.
the system just doesn't work. Um, so, what's your like big why for what you do? Like the real juicy one that don't usually get to actually talk about it, or maybe you don't want to sometimes.
My why? I love people. Like, deep down in my soul, I care about people so much. And like the reason I went into education in the first place is because my favorite thing is watching that aha moment, that moment where something clicks and kids, adults, anyone really, um, like start to understand something in a different way. And that's why I went into education in the first place, is because that's my favorite thing in the world, is to watch that happen. Um, and so to see things click and a big shift and that breakthrough, the breakthroughs that happen. That's like why I'm a breakup to breakthrough coach, is like that breakthrough moment is amazing. And it doesn't matter what area it's in. Like I have been a teacher my whole life. When I was in school, my friends all came to me before the test and like, Jessica, how do I do this? And I would teach them. And like that was in, middle school and high school. And then when I was in Bible studies and I taught Bible studies, and I went to college and I taught flute lessons, and I worked at a camp where I taught people stuff there, and I've been in aquatics for 15 years and became a lifeguard instructor. So like everything I've ever done, I've been a teacher. And so, but that moment of like, yes, I got it, or yes, I understand this. And then being able to apply it in different areas as well is just so fucking beautiful.
Oh, I totally relate to that. What I tell people all the time is, and you've seen me go through struggles with digging out a niche and all of that. It's like when people are like, what lights you up? I'm like, just being able to see that aha moment, that little spark of hope or possibility in someone. I was like, I don't care how we get it. I was like, if I teach them how to make macaroni and cheese, or teach them like how to like release their traumas and move on with their life, it's like, I don't care how it comes. It's such a just absolute rush to be able to see that for someone. Especially like with my past and never having experienced it when I was younger, on my own. It's so beautiful of a gift to now be able to give to someone. And as far as the whole, like, you loving people, I can totally vouch for that, as since I've been coached by you and mentored and guided. So a little testimonial there for everybody watching. Um, uh, who's like your role model?
um, so Rochelle was my first person who interviewed me, and she asked me what like the three most influential people in my life. And so immediately the first person that popped up in my mind when you asked that question is Lynn Lumley. Lynn Lumley was my high school
A
English teacher.
teacher, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
remember that interview. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. She I had her for 3 years in high school. I had her ninth grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade. And she is an amazing, well, she is not teaching currently in the school systems right now. She is nurturing five children, six children, all under the ages 14 and under. Um, so she has many children that she is teaching right now. And I'm lucky to be able to still be engaged with her. Um, she is an amazing human. I hated English in school, which is hilarious because now I'm an author and I have taught English in Korea. I hated English in school. It was my least favorite subject. It was the hardest thing for me. I hated writing, and she helped make me such a better writer. And she had a lot of fun doing what she did. And she also had the personal side of like a mentor as well. So I would sit in her class during study halls, and she would allow me to sit there and cry about my family life and what was going on there, because my parents were divorced and it was really hard. Um, so she like held space with me as I was going through it. And um, yeah, she's just a beautiful human, and I really admire her.
And whenever I have presented at schools or whatever, uh, one of the things that drives me about doing it, besides like empowering the youth is I love to try to connect teachers back to that original why of why they became a teacher. Because for a long time I had so much trouble in school, and because of things that were going on outside of school. And then one teacher in a 45-second conversation literally saved my life, and it's like wow, and just understand it actually helped shape me into being a coach, because it was like understanding the impact every single person has, and especially teachers. And it's like I hated teachers at that time. I thought they were my sworn enemy, and still he was able to give me a pattern interrupt in my life, and plant a seed that I say literally saved my life. So let there be light. Perfect timing for that to happen. Anyway, oh, spectacular. I should have planned that or something. So let's get a little fun and hypothetical. If you could go back and redo the last 10 years with the knowledge you have now, or have stay in the present time and know what the next 10 years has to bring, which would you do? Which would you pick? Little red pill, blue pill type thing here.
Is there an option where I don't choose either?
Sure, and let's explain it, because that can be a good little teaching point. Why not?
Oh, neither. To go back in with the knowledge that I have now would be to take away from the experiences that I had and made me the person that I am today. And I wouldn't change anything from the past 10 years. Yeah, one of the things that I say in my book, and if anyone's not familiar, I wrote a book called I Don't Hate My Ex-Husband, and it's going to be released at the end of June. Um, One of the things that I say in there is like, I don't regret marrying Morris whatsoever. In fact, was it last year? What would have been our 6-year anniversary, I texted him and I said, thank you for marrying me, thank you for divorcing me, and thank you for being my friend through it all. Like, all of it is this beautiful, epic, amazing journey, even though it felt sucky and shitty at times. Like, it's like why I'm here today and who the person I am today. And then to know what the next 10 years in the future hold would take away from the mystery and the amazingness of learning as we go along. And so really learning to love the journey is part of life, and that like having knowledge from either end takes away from that completely.
Yeah, we introduced the kids to Back to the Future recently. So then we wrapped up the trilogy last night. So it's kind of been on my mind of like, wow, this leads to that, and then all this different stuff, and especially the type of work I do with helping people heal so many past traumas. To think about time travel just fascinates me now, and yeah, but it's exactly what you say. It's like, wow, you go back and change one little thing, and it's like I think about us. Like, if I go back and change one thing, I don't have these 3 kids. I don't have it's like all this is gone just off of sleeping in one day, 5 extra minutes or something. So you have no idea the impact that can make moving forward. But it's fun to be able to look back and connect all the dots. So you just got to embrace the suck, as the Navy SEALs say, in the present moment sometimes, but it's all good. So, do you have a plan for the zombie apocalypse, if there is one?
Man, I haven't had this conversation in a long time. Um, there's one person I have in mind. If I could get to him, I would do it with him because he would have the whole plan figured out. Yeah, his name is Dan. It's my ex's really good friend, and he would be like this survivalist, wonderful person who would teach me stuff that I don't know. And I don't feel like I would hold him back either because I know I can rough it. I lived in a tent for 2 summers. I can, yeah.
What was the living in the tent?
I worked at a camp, a Christian camp for
Uh,
2 summers, and it wasn't like a small tent, it was a platform tent. We did have like the ability to have a fan in there, and a light. But it was definitely a tent with spiders on all of my stuff. And
nice. Yeah. They didn't need a light. They had you, Mama J, the light of Kaboom. Um,
oh, okay. So we need to like give some context to this. So Kip and I know each other through a program called Kaboom, and he is currently going through the program. It's a program that teaches um, business side of coaching, and it's to bring confidence, clarity, and cash flow in your life. And so Kip is going through it right now, and I happen to be his support coach going through the program. And he decided that my nickname is Mama J, and he can talk more about that.
yeah, I actually graduate this week, don't I? Or is that next week? Wow. Wow, I can't believe it's been sort of almost done. Yeah, well, it goes back to that whole loving people so much and just the way uh, to me, minutes remember your name because I'm programmed in. It's Mama J. I don't call you anything else. So just the way you just show up for everybody, or for those of you listening, everybody who is watching, just the way Jess shows up for just everyone, the presence she holds, the space she holds, the safe, sacred union, and then also the love nudges to move forward when needed, however they need to come packaged, whether it's just very sweet and loving and delicate, or it's someone like me that you have to chisel and, like stone through a hard head. She has it. And I was just like, wow, she has this very just mom-esque energy, the way she deals with us, and can just go with whatever's needed, even when all like 5 or 6 of us were like pleading for attention all at the same time. And she could just handle it and change energy and vibe between each child exactly how it was needed in the moment. I was like, wow, I've only seen that with like super moms. So this is amazing. So polled the group and everybody voted, and she's now known as Mama J. So it's official. That needs to be in
It's
the branding.
catching on in other circles too, just an
Yeah.
FYI.
I've been throwing it out there every chance I get. Yeah. Whenever you have your own talk show and all that, I get a little credit somewhere. Like, I'm in there somewhere, like Mama J, coined by. Yeah. So, let's see. On to the next. How much time do we have? Okay, because I have one I want to wrap the conversation up with, but it's kind of a showstopper at the end. Because I really just don't know how to follow it up, honestly. So I just can't figure out to leave it there. How do you want to help people the most? Like, if sort of like the niching part of the business, if there was really only one thing you could do with them, with every single person you interact with to serve them, what would that be?
It's really calling them into their highest version of themselves, calling them forward into the highest version of themselves. And there's lots of there's lots of different ways that looks like depending on the person, but really is like cutting to the heart and the essence of that, who you are, and calling you forward to step into that massive, amazing, wonderful human being that you are, and sharing your light with the world.
Nice. How is it, or what was it you needed? What did 10-year-old Jess need that Mama J delivers every single day, or more or less every single day?
10-year-old Jess needed love, needed to be seen, and needed to be heard. And I make it my mission to see people, to hear people, and to love people. I'm about to cry. Ooh.
Getting somewhere. Let's dig on it now. So, I'm going to get grounded, aren't I? In the kaboom? No. Oh no, that's the family I grew up in. Never mind. Let's see. She made a note here. What's the next level for you that you hope to evolve to, or may already be evolving to?
I want to increase my cash flow significantly. One of the things that one of my coaches says, a couple of my coaches say, is um, you're a liability if you're broke. And I have spent most of my life convinced that I was not going to make a lot of money. I was going to make a lot of impact, but not with money, having money. And the more that I understand about how the world works and how money works, I can actually make a larger impact if I have more cash flow. And so I have lots of dreams and ideas of what I would do with a lot of money. And I want to be able to make a bigger impact as a result of that. So that is really one of my major goals of up leveling this year.
Nice. I just had a really cool question. Okay. Should have probably had a conversation about this beforehand, but is there anything off limits at all before I start rambling on?
If I don't feel comfortable, I will just tell you that.
Cool. What are you hiding from yourself?
What am I hiding from myself?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing comes to mind. I imagine there's something. Um, but I continue to do work all the time to try to reveal all of the things that I'm hiding. But I don't know that I'm hiding anything right now.
Oh, I don't know. Would you rather be, and I'm feeling under the answer to this one. It's a great little conversation starter at uncomfortable dinner parties. Would you rather be a worryful genius or a joyful simpleton?
Joyful simpleton, for sure.
Yeah. Back to that next level for Jess. What are you allowing to stand in your way to get to that next level? That next evolution. I know you kind of mentioned some beliefs and things growing up, but
Oh yeah. So my money stories, other people's money stories, and like it kind of depends on the moment, because I've been having some pretty major breakthroughs in my money conversations with myself, and so really stepping into my own power. Um, and when I continue to practice doing that over and over again, I'm seeing that breakthrough and money coming to me more and more. Um, and I think that there's probably still some limiting beliefs around my worth and how much money I can earn and what my value is. And so I'm continuing to move through those as they come up.
What is what's something that something you have yet to do, but you've always kind of wanted to do, and what's holding you back?
Something I've always wanted to do and haven't done it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the things that I haven't done yet are related to that money piece. So um, I want to jump out of an airplane. That has some significant.
So much fun.
So there's money involved with that. I want to travel more, though I've been to 7 countries. I want to keep traveling and visit many more, experience different cultures. Um, I want to learn how to make pottery, and I want to, ah, yeah, like a lot of the things that I have wanted to do, I've done. Like I just wrote a book. It's almost published. That's something I've always wanted to do. I always wanted to teach in another country, and I've now done that. Um, yeah, I've done a lot of the things that I wanted to, but the ones to come yet have more to do with that cash flow piece.
Um, yeah, jumping out of a plane is fantastic. I did it. I went one day, like literally on a whim. I was walking by a group of people. Hey man, we're going skydiving. You want to go? And it's like, yeah, totally. I like got in the car, didn't know any of them, just went. And then, well, I kind of knew one of them, but we were not friends. Um, and then loved it. Went back the following week, and it was like a 3-hour drive to get to where it was to go. And then made plans there with the skydiving instructor. I was going to come and live on the property for a week, and he was going to give me run me through a crash course to get licensed to where I could go solo and go whenever I wanted. I was like, yeah, totally doing it. A couple of days, I think the very next day, I shattered my wrist, had to get surgery, and I couldn't go skydiving anymore. Like, oh. But it's on my list. It's still happening.
Oh, wow.
Actually, I would like to get to the level where I can actually take my kids and when they're old enough to actually go. So it's on the list. It's gonna happen. But
That's amazing.
so what is something either somewhat you show up or what's something you do in your life that most people don't do?
This, uh, the first thing that popped into my head was listen.
Or what were you saying?
Oh, yeah, learning the art of listening is like there's a skill and there's an art about it. And oftentimes people are not really taught how to really listen. Because it's not just the words, it's the tone, there's body language, and there's spirit, and there's all of these things. And learning how to really listen to people um, is something that I have spent a lot of time practicing and doing. And I feel like I just kind of embody that now. And it's not even something I think about, but it's something that I do all the time.
um, have you ever experienced your greatest fear coming true, or one of your greatest fears?
Oh, for sure. Getting divorced. That was one of my greatest fears, and it happened. Um, yeah.
Uh, it's kind of poetic how it's turned out now on this side, but yeah, having experienced divorce myself, yeah, it's not always fun going through it. But I remember one of my mentors reached out to me early on, and he's like, you know, "When divorce is so expensive because it's worth it." He's like, "Just hang on to that belief." And I was like, "What kind of statement is that?" But then, like after I got through it, and I look back from my experience, like, oh yeah, that was totally worth it. Like we're so much better now than ever were, and like our kids are way better off and everything. But whew, it's not a fun experience either way. But never heard of one being fun, not going through it. But um, um, just had something. Um, what was it? It'll come. It'll come. what is okay, yeah. If you could only leave, if you had to leave right now and you could only take what you could carry and the rest was gone, everything that's with you, and only what you can carry in your like hands, no bags or anything, no cheating like that. What are you grabbing?
It's amazing the amount of things I can carry. I've been training my whole life for this very moment. What if are some of the items already in a bag?
All right, give you that one loophole.
Well, I mean, like my camera, like is already in a
Oh yeah,
bag, so I
yeah.
grab the camera bag. You know, I have this nice DSLR camera, so that would come with me. Um, my flute, um, I bought it when I was 14, um, and it's a professional, amazing flute. I would grab that. And then there's a few journals and notebooks that I would take, um, that are like significant parts of my life. And there's a couple pair of earrings that I would grab that have significant stories to them. I have a lot of earrings. I collect them. I'm looking this way because I have a rack on my wall with them all in it. Um, um, Probably my phone and my computer, just because that's the connection in the life that I live right now. Um, Maybe a book or two. Yeah.
All right, since you brought up books, what's been your favorite lesson from a book? Any book you've ever read?
My favorite lesson. I grew up in a pretty conservative Christian world. I went to a Christian college, in fact, and was in full-time ministry for 3 years. Um, there's this book called The Ragamuffin Gospel by Brennan Manning. And there's this phrase that he uses a few times in the book, but it comes to my mind a lot. And I've changed it to fit more of where I am in life now in spirituality. But he's like, God loves you as you are and not as you should be. That
Mm-hmm.
phrase has wrecked my world and changed it and morphed it into so many different things. But it is something that I come back to more often. And I will tell myself and my clients, like, love yourself as you are and not as you should be.
What's your number one tip to be able to do that?
Mm. There's lots of different ways to love yourself. Um, but really, like, receiving it and accepting it and finding where that source of love comes for you. So for me, if I just take some deep breaths and think about love, like, it just starts to pour out of me. Um, like,
Yeah, I've seen that.
you've seen it?
I've seen it with you, and I've experienced it, received it, all that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But it has taken me many years to get here, right? Like 4 years ago, I didn't even love myself. Um, so it's amazing to see the journey that I've been on. But just even coming back to that phrase of like, love yourself, love me as I am, not as I should be. It's there's compassion that comes with that. There's um, grace that comes with that. Like there's this like the pressure being released because it's like, oh, that should be thing is not, I don't have to be anything. I don't have to do anything. I just get to be loved right where I'm at, no matter if I'm imperfect, if I'm cussing, if I'm doing the worst thing ever that I could think of. Like, I can be loved and am loved even in those moments.
Um, and it's if we all learn from our mistakes, why do you think everyone's so afraid to make a mistake?
Oh, because we are taught that. We are taught not to fail. We are taught that it's bad to fall down. You know, like physically, our bodies are like, oh my gosh, that hurt. And so we try to do everything in our power not to get hurt again, whether it's physical or emotional. And so anytime we ever feel that hurt, because again, we're not taught to experience that pain and hold it in a way that's um, functional and healthy. And so we're taught to resist it and avoid it at all costs. And so some of that is programming, and some of that is what we bring on to ourselves because nobody wants to feel pain. Um, so like there's that aspect of like rejection and failure. Like there's just a lot of fear around that. But you're right, we learn the most from our failures and mistakes. I actually had a boss once that expressed that sentiment is like, I would rather fail because I learned so much more. Like if I succeed, like I already know how to do that. Like that means I've already done it. I want to be able to learn something new. And the way I'm going to do that is by failing. And I'm like, that's amazing.
I think I heard Denzel Washington once say, like, fail as much as you can. It might not have been him, it might have been somebody else, but I'm a big fan of like his offstage just intelligence and just different conversations I've heard him have. And he said somewhere like, just fail as much as you can. And I've heard other mentors I say fail as fast and as much as you can, as fast as you can. And when I first heard it, I was like, are you out of your mind? But then as I got into the work, it's like, oh yeah, it makes perfect sense. And I tell that to the kids all the time. But let's see. When is it time for people to stop calculating risk and just do what they know is the right thing to do, or what they want to do?
Now.
Well, that sums that up. So,
Right now. Like, just do what you want. Like, people calculate the risk and they're like, give you all of these excuses. And like, the reality is, you can do what you want when you want to. And even if you have kids, even if you are married, even if you have whatever type of responsibility you have in your life, like your family, the people around you are going to be better off because you are taking care of you, because you are stepping into the fullness of yourself. And what a gift to show the people around you, you stepping into your power and yourself and like teaching your kids to be able to do that. Amazing. Amazing.
yeah, it's awesome. We have, well, you and I've talked about, I think, my kids and how everything's going with them. And we have one, our 12-year-old is, wow, he lives like now is, and wide open is the only speed he has. It's just like, hey, Daddy, I'm going to do this. Like, cool, awesome, go check it out. And then next thing I know, like he's already doing it. It's like, oh, he told me, he texted me the other day and he said, I'm going to start flipping cell phones. Do you want to be a part of it? I was like, we'll have a conversation, here in a little bit about it. It's like, all right. And like an hour later, he and I were making dinner together, and was like, oh, so you want to have a conversation about flipping cell phones? She's like, yeah, I already bought one, and it's I'm bidding it all or auctioning it off over here, and I have a guy in the UK who might buy it. And I was like, and it's like, he just goes in on it. It's like he gets an idea, it's congruent, and he just takes action. I'm like, man, you're showing me up so much. It's like, all right. So I'm going to hire him as a coach, an accountability coach. Actually, whenever I want to get back on a fitness routine, I actually get him to work out with me because he'll, oh my God, he doesn't let me play small. So,
Well, and what a wonderful thing to be able to reframe that too. Like, he's not showing you up, he's showing like what you have taught him, he's embodied. And so you have helped him create that space. Amazing.
yeah, he's awesome, especially when I started seeing it come into fruition from it. Because for a long time, like had various relatives and friends or what, just people in our environment who were like, you're nuts. Why are you teaching a kid that? Like, it's way over their head. It's blah, blah, blah. I was like, no, I believe it can happen. But then like for years, didn't really see anything come out of it. But it's like the story of the bamboo tree. It's like, it takes 5 years before it ever sprouts out of the ground. And then it grows like 90 feet in a year or whatever. And it was that with him. It's like just all of a sudden one day, boom, everything clicked. And he just took off with it. And I can't keep up. Like, I wasn't ready for this. Wild and amazing. It's awesome. All right. So my favorite question for the evening, I think. So it's 30 years beyond your graduation from life, and they have a yearly parade in your honor. What is the like theme of the parade? What is it in honor of? That accomplishment that you left the world with.
Wow.
Yeah, see, I couldn't start off with that.
Yeah, that's a beautiful image. So 30 years past my life, and people are still celebrating the shit out of my life. Wow. What are they celebrating? Love, growth. Like, my highest value is growth, but love is just what keeps coming to my mind. Like, people learning to love themselves, truly embodying that, and teaching others how to do the same. That's what I would want to see.
Awesome. Love it. Let's say you're right on track with that. From everything I know about you and all of our experiences and journeys together. So, one more on top of that. Who's the guest speaker?
The guest speaker at my parade?
Yeah.
Oh. My grandchild. That's what popped into my head.
Very cool. Like,
yeah.
I think most people would automatically throw in a celebrity out there. That's really cool, but yeah.
Well, who knows who's gonna be live then?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, my grandchild, for sure.
Your favorite grandchild? Which one's your favorite? They'll see this. Man, so that's it. I could keep making stuff up and winging it, but yeah.
Thank you so much, Kip.
Oh, absolutely. So honored. I was so glad it worked out perfectly because I was literally hanging up on another call, and today's been nonstop, and I was literally hanging up on that call to get into this one. But so whenever you reached out and asked, I was like, oh, perfect window. It's like, yeah, it's right there, and I've got to do this. So,
beautiful.
So, excellent. Such an honor. Appreciate it so much for thinking of me.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
To everyone watching, thank you for joining us tonight. We love you and appreciate you joining us. And Have a wonderful evening creating, playing, and loving.